All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to June, June 1st, hopefully not June 2nd for people that are way ahead of us on the other side of the world. But welcome to this Nintex Hangout. I'm excited to be able to present, to come back to you another week. It is super bright in here. The sun is actually shining in the Bellevue office, which is awesome. One of the things I was definitely looking forward to. With the move to the Northwest. So things are going great over here. Excited again, like I said, to be coming to you all with this hangout specifically because of a lot of things that's been going on, and a project that was near and dear to my heart. So definitely excited about that. Want to cover some quick things really quick, do some housekeeping, stuff like that, basics. Twitter, if you're on Twitter, I actually need to do more on Twitter. That's a no-brainer. I need to be on Twitter just a little bit more. Tweeting out and getting some things out. But subscribe to me on Twitter at eharris04. Also hashtag Nintex Hangout. Don't forget to follow Nintex at nintex.com. That's going to be your kind of one-stop shop for almost anything, everything related to Nintex. So definitely do that. Also the TE, so Tech Evangelists here at Nintex as well. A lot of us are pushing out content, doing things, speaking to partners and customers. So definitely follow us if at all possible. Check out the Nintex YouTube channel as well. There you'll find latest videos, updates. I'm actually going to be transferring a lot of the Hangouts over there, so they'll be in one concise location so you can get updates and things and look at how we solved and answered questions in the community. Also provided updates to you as well. Definitely shout out to new members in Connect. New partners and new customers, welcome aboard to Nintex. Really glad to have you aboard. This platform, the Nintex platform, is rapidly becoming the staple workflow platform. I mean, it's already the best in the world, but everyone hasn't realized it yet. So part of my job is to help educate, bring awareness to it, and to allow people to understand what it is, how to use it, and what they can do with it. So I'm excited. Welcome to all the new people as well. And yeah, just really great and excited about that. Thanks, special shout out. I'm gonna call out a couple of names. If I missed you by any chance or another, don't take it personally. But I'm calling out a couple people specifically because of what they've done over the last couple of days. Within the community, helping me out on some initiatives. So I really appreciate it. Carolyn Young, Patrick Abel, and let's see here. I actually got to get a couple more of the names. Those two specifically have definitely helped out. Frank has been doing a huge thing behind the scenes. He's not here this morning. He's actually here, but he's just not here with me. This morning, he's been doing a couple of things as well, but definitely assisting with getting a lot of things in place for my major announcement. So I'm really excited about that. Let me find out. But again, it's been a wonderful privilege just working with a lot of different people, asking questions, getting things answered, and things of that sort. Jesse, I am not going to butcher your last name, but you know who you are. You've been in communication with me regarding to one of the beta programs. Really appreciate it. So I definitely wanted to give you a shout out as well. Pierre, also just really huge thanks for what you all have been doing within the community. Definitely giving me some key feedback. Andrew Robinson as well. Thank you all. So I wanted to take a brief minute to say thank you to some key people that I mean, there's a lot of other people that I can say thank you to, but wanted to give them a special shout out because of some of the stuff that they've done in helping me get prepared for a big launch of something. So with that being said, let's transfer over. Let's actually switch. I want to make sure that everyone in here is aware of the product marketing and release information. We're going to first go through, there we go, share my screen, present to everyone. So one of the things you'll see here, this is the homepage of Nintex Connect, the community site. On here, be mindful to take a look at what content is out here. It may be a lot of words, etc., but take a look at it. So a lot of these things are really helpful in navigating the community, just understanding what's new, what's different. Frank takes his time and actually goes through a lot of these things, and definitely check out the missions as well. But making most of the content, I I can't stress it enough. I can't stress it enough. I can't stress it enough. I'm seeing a lot of customers, a lot of people still on the community. They'll go out and they say, "Hey, I'm new to the community," and they ask a question. And instead of searching, and I understand, I mean, you really want to get an answer or whatever, but a lot of times, a lot of questions actually have already been answered. So making the most, it's almost imperative at this point to search the community for answers. I do it. A lot of people who are on here a lot, we search the community because that's the best way to, one, find answers and also find questions that may have hints to answers as well. So please, please, please use this thing right here called search to search the community. Please, 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 please do that, and that'll help out. All right. So some cool content, some things. Cassie Freeman, I missed the name. There you go. I apologize for that, Cassie. Thank you as well for your assistance. Man, I could keep going through a whole bunch of people here, but thank you all for what you're doing. This is actually a pretty cool content that she wrote up on site workflows and then documentation around it. Definitely check that out. It's something that is worthwhile. So thank you, Cassie, for that. Let's see here. Partners, don't forget WPC's coming up. Register, show up. Definitely get in contact with Samantha over at the Partner Network if you're on Yammer. Jump on that really quick as well, and let us know that you're coming. Don't forget to register for the different events and the pre-day stuff. All right. So with all that being said, that was a lot of stuff, right? It was all of 7 minutes worth of stuff. I want to talk a little bit about something that is coming, something that we've done, something that is brand new, and then I'll jump into questions because I know a lot of people may want to see what's new. What was this whole like Legos, building blocks, and Nintex thing? What does that have to do with each other? Actually, forgot my Legos. Man, I was gonna bring my Legos in. But anyway, so Legos. Most people you all understand what Legos are. You've seen Legos. You've interacted with Legos, and one of the things that I wanted to do was to kind of relate this concept of building blocks. And I need to actually find my example of building blocks really quick so I can actually do that. Parent-child, because I have one out here. Parent-child relationship, create. Let's do that. All right, so building blocks, Lego. So the idea is that you have one set of blocks, and you can have a block that does one thing. It could be the basic brick for Legos. You can take 2 bricks and build a bigger brick, and you can keep building on that, etc. What we've done in Nintex is we've looked at a lot of different things, shared a lot of this during ExpireX, etc. We've looked at a lot of different things, and we wanted to make a way for users to find those building blocks a lot easier, use those building blocks to build other new things that haven't been done before. We've turned them not necessarily building blocks, but assets are how they've kind of been titled here inside of Nintex or in Nintex. And the idea behind that is that you can take an asset, so a Nintex asset, say a workflow design or a form design, take a form design and then someone else has done some JavaScript or CSS and put those two together, and now you have your solution. Or say you take a workflow design and a UDA, put those two together, and now you have your solution. And that one solution with one UDA may be different from another workflow design that has 2 UDAs doing something completely different. Or say a workflow task and a UDA to calculate business hours or business days. Or for example, something that is actually out here, birthdays, being able to calculate when was your birthday for some random quiz or something like that perchance. Survey forms, being able to create a form and then do some styling on that, adding links to images or attachments, for example, and things such as that based on CSS or JavaScript or maybe even jQuery. Those are all different types of what I would consider building blocks, similar to how Legos, you can take one kit and build 2 or 3 different things with it. We also have assets that allow you to take one thing and build 2 or 3 things with it. And that's something that is huge, and it's a fundamental shift in how we usually think about workflows and how we think about using solutions and things of that nature, because a lot of times people want to get the end-all solution so it has everything in it, and they oftentimes forget about the repeatable processes that can be leveraged across multiple different workflow designs or multiple different solutions or applications. And one of the things I have been focused on for the last 3 or 4 months is trying to find a way to help surface up those reusable assets across the platform, so that users across the board, whether you're a new user, someone that's been around for 5+ years, been in the community for a long time, you can still find something that's of value and be able to quickly go out and automate something faster. And so that's been one of the challenges, something that's really exciting as well, and something that I'm glad to present. I did a little kind of preview last Nintex Hangout on the Nintex Exchange, which is kind of our new area. I'm not going to say exactly what it is yet because I'm excited. So, but what I wanted to do is show you kind of what this concept is, and then we'll actually preview again the next piece of that, which is, make sure I'm doing this right. Yep. Preview the next piece of that. So I wrote, this is something that I wrote 2 years, it's actually, yeah, it's almost a year and a half ago, 18 months or so ago. I actually wrote it before that. I just released it on 2015. But this talks about the creating parent-child items using Nintex forms and workflow. What I had basically done with this was I took a concept, and I gave them a lot of credit for this right here with his blog. He had a blog out here, and let's actually go to the blog. He had a blog that was, how do you parse repeating section data? So in a Nintex form, you can have repeating sections, and in the repeating sections, you can contain that data. But how do you parse that? How do you take the collection of that data, separate it out so you can use that over and over and over again? And in my case, what I wanted to do was to create a parent-child relationship for, say, event surveys. So you have an event and you want people to register for the event, or register multiple people perchance for an event, etc. How do you do that? So I took a look at his solution, and he used a UDA that was really helpful, get forms repeating section data, the UDA. So he kind of walks through this whole process here, and then he has the UDAs, parse and repeating section, user defined action there, and then the UDA itself. So, and he has examples, etc. So I went through and looked at this. I was like, here's a great start. This is actually not how I started out. I actually started trying to build this myself, and I went through a lot of stuff, a whole lot of stuff. I mean, it took me probably, I don't want to admit how long it took me to do this, but it took me a while until I figured out that, you know what, there's got to be something better. One night I actually spent about 6 hours trying to crack the repeatability process, and it wasn't that I didn't know what I was doing. It was just simply the fact that I didn't have the concept correctly mapped out in my head of how to build that out. So what I actually went out and I started Googling, and I started searching, and I found Vadim's blog and was like, oh, okay, here's a piece, but it wasn't actually what I wanted. It was close, so close to what I wanted, because it was actually a very big piece that I was missing. So with that, I actually turned around and built something different. And what came out of this was a really helpful guide to how do you take repeating sections, build it out, and actually from that create. So you have the one item that outputs multiple items, but then you have the parent, so that's the parent, and then you have the child item that's created. So it creates individual list items based on the parent item. So one item, one form can produce multiple items. So this could be something done for expense reports. It could be done for, like I said, field surveys, for event registration. It could be done for, I'm trying to think of some purchasing. So if you're doing purchase order where you have one purchase order and multiple items that are being purchased on that purchase order, that's something that can be used as well. And the idea was that I didn't create this from my own self. So one, I had to give credit to whom credit was due, but I also found out that, hey, I took an asset. So we're coming back to that thought of the building block. I took the asset, the UDA from Vadim with the workflow and the form, looked at it, and then turned around and manipulated it, changed it up, and built another asset, another piece of the puzzle per se. And actually, it's funny, I actually didn't do everything I could have done with it. And I did it on purpose. I left it as kind of this unfinished canvas per se, because I wanted other users to be able to go in and to turn this over. I want other users to be able to go and take it, understand the base premise of what I was doing, and be able to build on top of that. And as a result, I went through, haven't done this in a while, went through and looked at a lot of the comments, and a lot of the comments were, hey, I got this, I figured this out, and I actually did this. I did this with it, I did this with it, and I done something different, etc. And that was like one of those things where it was the, again, an aha moment for me, because I realized, hey, here's something that we need to exploit and kind of create more of an open source area, open source environment within the Nintex community, so that people will start to leverage kind of things that other people have done. So instead of just going out and answering a question saying, hey, how do I do a form and I want to do validation on 2 fields based on another field, how do I do that? Instead of someone saying, well, you can use JavaScript to do that and whatever, you actually start posting the JavaScript language, the script itself, to achieve that. But then also going forward, being able to then register and create an asset around that JavaScript so that others can say, hey, I'm trying to do validation on a form control. Boom, here's a snippet, replace this, this, and this inside of that, call out this form control using the NF form, whatever, and that'll work. And then copy and paste it here. So now I have a repeatable piece of JavaScript that I can apply almost to any type of form. And people can do, here's a 2-step cascading, validation, etc. But the idea is that it becomes repeatable, reusable, and it helps other users get there faster, get there easier, and get there better, to get to their end solution. So it's a very exciting thing, and something that we should want to promote when it comes to the community and when it comes to Nintex. So give me 1 second. I'm actually trying to figure out. Let's see. Hide. That should be good. Okay. Cool. So with that being said, gave you an example of what it looks like, what it is, etc. So let's actually take a look at something that's really huge for Nintex. Drum roll, da, 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 da. Okay, so with that, let's get going on it. There's going to be a lot of news and buzz coming out. I get to do this preview because why? I get to do a preview. I like doing previews. So let's go home. There we go, and present to everyone. All right, so from the home page inside of Nintex Connect, we have now created a new button. This is actually fun. I'm going to actually try to do this way as well. We've actually done it from nintex.com as well. But we have worked on centralizing a bunch of what we call assets. And we've put them in one place, and we've actually launched this place. It is called the Nintex Exchange. Drum roll, yes. Everybody clap. Woo! All right, I wish I knew how to do applause on this thing. I know there's a way to do it. It's some little game thing they have on here. But anyways, so applause. Nintex Connect. We have inside of that, we have the Nintex Exchange. Yes, and it will be going live very soon. But what I want to do is show you, this is the concept that I was mentioning. The Legos, the building blocks, the pieces of Nintex that you can take and do almost anything else with. We have a number of UDAs out here. We have custom code out here. We have some connectors out here. We also have solutions out here as well. And it's really excited. I got a clap from. Thanks, Andrew, for the clap. I appreciate it. But we, it's one of those things where it's exciting because the building blocks, now I can easily find the building blocks, and I'm going to pay attention to a very particular asset type, because these are where we aim to see more of the building blocks actually come out. Custom code. Custom code is going to be huge, something that is definitely necessary, something that you all may want to see. We have the business days. There's another one here about birthdays somewhere around here. I can load more to find it. I know it's one in here. I probably need to go back and tag it. But there's so show repeating section as a table. Let's click on that one and look at it really quick. So this one was done. It actually, be able to take repeating sections similar to what I've done, but here's some JavaScript that you can actually do that without having to run a UDA. This is very helpful for Office 365 where UDAs aren't there yet. We're working on UDAs coming into the 365 platform, but in the meanwhile, here's a solution. You have repeating sections out there. How do you display this data and make it easy to use? Here's a JavaScript right here that you can take and use right inside your form. You can also tag it, you can also rate it, comment on it, etc. This is the value of the Nintex Exchange. This is what we want. We want people to exchange ideas, knowledge, information, understanding. How do you do something? JavaScript force validation. Actually, this is similar to one of the ones that I was sharing about earlier. How do you actually force validation on a field in JavaScript? Well, here's a sample of it for an in-text form. It's a really good way to actually, do this. It's actually really simple. It goes in custom JavaScript area inside of the form settings. You can do it, place it on. You have to specify what your form, what field you're actually using, and within that it'll actually work. I mean, there's a little bit more information and details on it, and one of the things that you'll find, a lot of the stuff that are created by either VTEs or TEs or partners inside of the community for an Nintex Exchange, we've linked to their blogs where they actually have more detailed information and things of that. So it's not a matter of just kind of come here, find it, and you're done. But if you need support, whatever, you can actually go here and ask a question on right here, add a comment, post a question. How do I actually, I'm not going to do it on this one, but how do I specify what field? If you haven't used JavaScript before, there might be a challenge of trying to understand or identify that. How do you find the field to actually replace so that that you're actually showing your field? I think he walked through this in his blog, so it's something to check out, and it actually helps the creators, or the authors rather, to continue to, I'm not going to say bulletproof, but yeah, almost like bulletproof their assets so that others can use them. Regular expressions are in here. How do you embed signature pad using JavaScript? I like the custom code because that's the stuff that really goes beyond. It goes out and it creates so much more, and it's so helpful to do it very quickly. One of these right here, tab-based solutions. Have you ever wanted to, inside an Nintex form, create tabs? I have. It's been something that I've actually attempted before, and here it is right here. I mean, this is how simple it is, and it's JavaScript right there from Patrick Abel with Summit 7. I appreciate what he did putting this out here, and it doesn't have to be something super complex, right? It's something that people wanted, they need it. It's a piece of a block to a solution. You can use this for a host of things. Let's see what he actually has tagged out here. You can use it for, wow, where is it? For forms, for custom code. Obviously, you can use it for custom layouts, things of that nature, but HR can use it, engineering can use it, field service can use it, retail can use it. So a host of people can use this basic solution. And we appreciate you for putting that out there, Patrick. So these are some things we actually already pre-filled the Exchange with a whole bunch of stuff so that you can find them and use them and start creating more assets. That's one of the benefits of it that I can't stress enough. Don't just take it and use it and be like, all right, I got what I need and I'm done. But figure out, if you had to tweak it and do something different, come out here and create your own. You'll say, well, how do I create my own? All right, well, let's walk through that process really quick, and then we'll come back to this. You can click on submit an asset button, and it brings you to this page. It's really quick, kind of brief overview of the page. Register. You do have to be registered to create assets in the Exchange, and part of the reason for that is we want this to be quality. We want to control the quality of it. We can't just have anything out there. It could be JavaScript that goes out there and does something crazy, and it doesn't even help a user. We don't want that out here. So what we're asking for is a little bit more information from the user to register so that we know who you are. Also, support information. If your ass is out there and 15 people are commenting on and say, hey, this thing's broken, and you're not responding, we need to find a way to get in contact with you, or we'll have to pull the asset. So this is just a management thing for us, and it's very simple. It's really nice. This is actually an example of Exchange at work. And this is one of those things I can brag about because I like it. This form, I actually created a form, and I went out to the Exchange, and I was looking for some, what do you call it? I was looking for some CSS or some kind of way to manipulate this thing, make this thing look kind of nice and spiffy, whatever, and do some things. And lo and behold, one of our VTEs, Carolyn, was like, hey, I have some stuff that can potentially help you with your form. And this is the result of that, the collaborative effort. It wouldn't have existed if we weren't, if we didn't surface up, hey, here's what I'm trying to do, this is what it looks like, etc. Does anybody have any code to help out? So, simply just register. So I'm actually going to walk through this because I can do that and show you what this thing looks like. It's really cool. I'm going to do at nintex.com. This is actually, again, we use our own product. This is a Nintex form. I'm going to put my phone number out here, put my location, country. These are really helpful because, again, it helps us understand what we're doing. I am going to put myself as Man, what is my role? I'm gonna do an IT professional today. Why not? And a workflow user. Hey, those are great. I've used all the platforms. Awesome. Why do I want to join this program? Because I want to help others use Nintex more and build more stuff with it. Something simple. But please do remember, this is actually going to come to me. So if this doesn't even, like, this is like something unreasonable, like, hey, I really just want to use Nintex. Okay, well, how do you want to use Nintex? You know, be a little bit more descriptive than that, please. But then also by sending this, you are agreeing to the terms of use that can be found inside of the community. It's either on the bottom, terms and conditions, but then also on the exchange itself. And things of that nature. Let's see here. I actually need to do one quick thing. So give me 1 second. Let me do that really quick. This is going to take a second to run. But the idea behind the private, so there it is. So the use policy, the idea about that is that it allows you to find out the use policy and things, and those are things that are necessary. Everyone, give me 1 second. Add group. Let's do that. And I'm actually doing some stuff on the back end. Got an email from one of the guys, so I need to do some things to make sure that it is open correctly. Cool. All right, so that should take care of that. Andrew, you should be able to get in now based on that. So let me know. If not, shoot me a text or something and I'll get that corrected for you. All right, so anyway, so the FAQ, so that was there. All right, so you agree with that. Everything looks good. Save. All right, so we're gonna save and submit that. Hey, your form is successfully submitted. Yay! Woohoo! All right, and then let's go back to the exchange. So it's just that simple. You can register and everything looks good. All right, next thing on that is, so we've seen that. Now let's see if I can go back to where I was. Submit an asset. So you do have to register, and the registration, again, it just allows us to kind of monitor who's doing what and who's using what and how people are building things and tracking those things. Once you've registered, you can then start creating your own assets. You'll have permission to get in and do that. Basically, simply click on that and then submit your asset that way. It brings up a similar kind of view or asset profile here with some dummy information. You have to replace your information ideally, and there's some information on how to submit your own asset. I won't go into details on that, but that's out there. How do you create an asset? I created a blog around that. But for people that will have permission that are submitting assets, fill out everything. Please make it easy on us, me. Fill out everything. Don't take this out. We need that in there, but then also tag it and add your assets correctly. The whole purpose of it is to make it easy for people to use the asset to be able to do what they need to do fast, but then also to build and do more things with it. I want to actually find another asset. Let's see here, what's out here that we can actually showcase. Get reoccurring events. That's actually a really good one. I'll click on that one. Get reoccurring events is nice. Math power, create Salesforce lead. That's actually a really cool one. People may not understand or may not know about that as far as being able to use Salesforce within SharePoint and within Nintex workflow. So from Nintex workflow 365, Brad actually walked through good detail how to create a workflow that pushes information to Salesforce and creates a Salesforce lead. Really good information here. So again, as you start to see kind of the recurring theme on these, we're looking at assets, things that can be used inside of Nintex with Nintex, either on it, on top of, or built with Nintex to help enable people to do some things a lot faster and easier. So and then you also have links to his blog and stuff like that that we've created so that you can, if you need to dig in and find more information, you can find that there. You may wonder, who all can create assets or who all can, contribute to the exchange. Both customers and partners can contribute to the exchange. You just have to register. For partners, we will have partners creating solutions. Those solutions could be free and paid solutions. If they're paid, then you'll have to link out to the partner website, and partners have information on how to do that. But here's an example again, another one from well, actually that's one I clicked on before, from Summit 7, that showcases that. Here's a couple other one as well. Using SharePoint REST within a Nintex form. Huge, very valuable information. People are trying to figure out how to do these things. How do I pull in data? How do I actually reference different things within my Nintex form? Here's assets that help you do that. This is like one of those things where I could jump up down and be like, yes, we have it, and it's all in one place, right? The idea is that you can have, you know, multiple things out there from different people, blogs and etc. But if you can find them all in one location, how good is that? And that doesn't mean that everything's inside of the exchange. There's tons of assets that are still out there in the community, that are on partner sites, that customers are using and creating, that what we're endeavoring now with opening this up is, hey, register and create the asset, transform it, make it so that someone else can use it, so they can like it, they can share it, they can follow it, create updates, etc., and they can learn how to do more things. Here's the asset file for that. So this is what the exchange is. This is the power of the exchange, and it's really easy to use. I want to look at things that have been used for sales and marketing. All right, cool. Sales and marketing, what changed? In sales and marketing, I need to know business days of validation, so that when a person enters information on the form, it has to be within the business day, so it can be on like a Saturday, etc. Or designing multi-step forms. That's a really cool asset. That, you know, how do I create a multi-step form so that I can walk the user through a sales process or through some kind of survey to get them everything. I don't want this really long, exhaustive form. Those are things that are applied. You will see some of these assets are reused kind of over in different industries, different scenarios. But the idea behind that is that again, is reusable. And we wanted to help people find different things based on what they may be selecting. So with that field service, generate random numbers. So you have for example, a form that creates different numberings, and you need to number some things randomly. That's a UDA from Vadim that actually helps you to do that. Much shout outs to him. Actually, most of the UDAs that I know about that are created on Nintex are created by Vadim. But here's a challenge, and I want to challenge anybody out there. I dare you. Actually, I don't dare you, because I don't want to dare anybody to do that. But I challenge you to actually find some unique UDAs that you can actually add to the exchange, because UDAs are so powerful. They're available on-prem, and they allow you, as packages, is small packages of actions, Nintex actions that are packaged together that are reusable. So I can take a UDA, export it, and you can import it into your environment and quickly get those actions, whether that action be, like I said, create a Salesforce lead. It could be to do some kind of math calculation or whatever. I challenge someone to go out here and let's see if we can actually match Vadim's number of UDAs. I will tell you, he has about 60, but the idea is, let's see if we can actually make an entire section in the exchange on UDAs. How awesome is that? So let's see how many we have so far in here. There's a lot. Here's the one that I was looking for. The birthday UDA, being able to find out what day of the week your birthday was on. This is actually done by Andrew Glasser, one of our VTEs. So really appreciate you for doing that, unloading that up here. Finding longitude and latitude, that could be an important one if you have a field service survey or a retail survey for people that are out in the field doing things like that. Here's something, this parent-child relationship solution actually uses a UDA that's inside of the exchange. So we wanted to actually service that, so that's why that one's showing up there. Uber price estimate. Wow, that's, you know, again, it's a lot of stuff out here. Some of the other things you can do with this is get the, where is it? I want to see if I can find it. So jQuery, JavaScript, you have the ability to find different things based on you know, additional tags, so smaller tags. If it's SAP, you know, I know there's one that's tagged SAP connected by Theabo, one of our Nintex tech partners. So if you want to connect it to SAP, there's something there. We also have some from Zimped apps as well. I believe one of theirs is in here. So you can actually find PowerShell. So find things that are using PowerShell, uploading ULS logs to SharePoint via PowerShell. Again, these are assets, building blocks, and I can't drum that in enough. These are assets that are used to help you actually use the Exchange better, use Nintex better, get these things done faster, etc. So why not use it? So, alrighty. So that was about 20 minutes of awesomeness, I hope, and see what's going on. Yep. See what's going on with the within the community as far as questions and answers. We are working to do a couple of things. This was just out from beta. We have some tweaks that we're actually making. So this isn't final. Actually, this is final. No, I'm just kidding. No, but this is actually just the start. So if you have any feedback, any questions, here's a couple of things that you can do. Let's see here. Where am I at? Go to using Exchange. This actually walks through, how to use the Exchange. If you have questions about it, post your questions here and learn more. It walks through some different things you can do as well from how do you install a workflow? How do you import a form? How do you import a SharePoint list that may be part of an asset, etc. So those things are available. I will be actually enabling a feedback section within Exchange. I need to do that today, so that you can submit feedback. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you can ask them here. You can actually simply ask a question and tag my name on it. It's at eharris04 in the community, and I will be glad to assist you with getting those things done. And what we'll do is actually surface a lot of that stuff here so that people can see it, so that it makes sense, so that people understand it, and go from there. So really do appreciate everyone being on board, being excited about it. Spread the word. This is supposed to be huge, and it will be huge, and it'll be made by people like us, me and you, working together, creating more of an open source community where people can actually find and use things a lot better. So that being said, I do appreciate everyone that has worked with me through beta on this. That was a very fun process, so I really appreciate that, and really glad to see those things happening. Also, one of the other benefits from this that I do want to point out is that we're actually tracking stats and analytics and stuff coming from Exchange. So if the more we see stuff happening, this is another way for us to actually get feedback from what people are using to actually input or to do into the product, do with the product. So again, it's not just one of those things where, hey, just use this and lose it, or kind of like use it and you're on about your way, you're doing your own business thing. But we want you to find stuff, share it, and help others use it. So the more demand that we see for different things within the community, the more we'll actually start say, okay, well, that needs to be done, this needs to be done. And it helps us, the TEs that are advocates for a lot of the consumers or customers and partners. It helps us to take that message back and say, hey, product, we want to do this, we need to do this. And it's just another avenue with like user voices out there as well, just another avenue for us to continue to get feedback from our users on what they really like to use. So with that being said, I'm going to close a couple of tabs because I have a lot of tabs open. And let's see, oh, from Nintex. You can actually get to the Exchange from nintex.com as well. So that's something that is there. Also, that's one thing I wanted to show. But let's talk about a couple of questions really quick. We got about 15-20 minutes left, so let's dig into a couple of questions and let's see if we can answer them really quick and get on with the Exchange. I actually want to try to build something from Exchange if I have time, but let's answer a few questions. I actually did a couple of these last night, so I cheated. But what do you do when you're up at like 12 o'clock at midnight? So query list. So this one's from Scott Cameron. And he says, he's new to Nintex. So here again is one of those, no fault, Cameron, nothing bad about it. But again, search the community when you can, because a lot of times these questions get answered a lot faster. But he said, all right, so let's see what he says. I have a sales team approval form that I would like to display the current items, customers, previous credits on the form. The query would be on the current list. Is that possible in Nintex 365? So how? It is possible. That's a little kind of wonky, and I would actually aim at looking to get more information out of that, because that looks like it could end up being a round robin type effect where you're pulling data and you're querying data, etc. But there is a way to do it via list lookup, which is something that's posted here. Actually, let's see. I'm gonna log in to my environment and see if that is actually on there. So give me 1 second to get on there. I don't think I put that in correctly. I didn't put that in correctly. Awesome. But that is something that you could do on the form. But we need a little bit more information about that because it's, like I said, it's kind of interesting that, let's see here. I just need a test. Hangout Daniel. I'll use the one from the last one. Nintex forms. You have to be careful kind of pulling information from itself, because how do you actually relate IDs? If it's a new item, how does it know any IDs of the past item? Are you doing it based on the user? Is that the initiator, etc.? So you kind of have to be careful about that, and oftentimes it may require leveraging some other things. Alrighty, so we do have list lookup. Let's see here. We want to configure this. So the name is lookup. ID is connected to, so we don't really want to connect it to anything. List columns. Product lookup. So this is one thing. So this is where it kind of gets funny because I actually already had it connected to. I have a lookup on the list already. Let's see here. Text connect to. I'm going to see what in the world this looks like. Let's see what this does. I want to pull in from there. That's actually kind of cool. That's different. That might have been there the whole time. I just didn't see that. Let's see here. So what list am I on? I'm on Hangout Daniel, so we want to pull that again. And the source view is all. So we could leave that blank. And the list column name is title and allow multiple values, no. All right, so let's just see what this thing does, because this, again, is one of those really interesting things where how do you relate to yourself when it's brand new? See how this goes. Alrighty, so we have a list lookup. Please select the value, test and test out. All right, so we do have, so it is currently pulling, and I do know that that does exist. Test and test out are the two. So it's giving me the titles. That's great. Now let's see if I can actually pull this in based on the person that created it, maybe. ID, so name, ID connected to. So this field is to bind the input control to. I cannot do that. That is pretty interesting. See? So let's column name. I'm doing this right, and I know it. Let's actually go with current user. See what that does. No. I actually don't want the current user. I want the created by person. Let's see here. Item properties created by. Why not? Let's see if this actually works. I actually don't think this was going to work. I know that if I were to hit the product lookup, I would actually be able to pull that in differently. I know that for a fact. So let's see what this does. Warning, that didn't like something. When connected to a control, see, here's some information, internal name. Awesome. So that means that it may not be possible. You have to do something. So on this one, I would need to dig into that a little bit more, but you need to find a way, Scott, on that one. Where am I? Here we go. On this one, Scott, you might need to find a way to either represent that data differently or have it separated, so that when they're pulling their previous credits, that's a little bit more defined. Again, not a lot of information out here to understand what you're actually trying to achieve, but I wanted to try to take a stab at that. The list lookup is the correct answer partially based on the fact that that is how you would do it. The other thing you would need to do as well is try to figure out a way to, again, separate and pull that information into the form itself. It may be possible. If you see this, definitely add some information to it. Let us know what you're trying to achieve, and we can get you an answer. Like I said, the community, we're out here to help. Philip's actually a really good guy. He knows a lot about the products as well. So, give us some more information on what you're actually trying to achieve, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. All righty. Let me skip on over to the next one. This is really cool. Link from assigned task takes the task description instead of the form. I looked into this, and the people that were working with him on this actually was going in an interesting direction. Um, so I wanted to talk about it really quick. So one of the things that you got to look at is um, there's a lot of things that are standard out of the box with what SharePoint and Nintex does. And some of that doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem because something isn't working. It may just be working the way it's supposed to. And what you're trying to do is actually a workaround, or not a workaround, but a modification of how it was intended to work. So that's something to be mindful of as well. Don't always go into, hey, something may not be working, start something, complain, etc. But kind of sometimes look at the product, ask one of the experts in the community about it, and see, what are you trying to do, etc. In this case, he was trying to take a link, create it in a task title, and when the user clicks on it, it opens up the edit form. However, if you take the standard link, it actually opens up by default the display form. This is done on purpose. This is done, one, to prevent security issues. Two, it's to ensure that the user isn't editing the task, but just simply replying to it, basically doing an approval on it. And in many cases, they can do the approval by doing the show more, click approve or rejected, or whatever the outcomes are for that task. And it also has a place to do comments. So that is something that is done by default. However, there is a way to do that where, in Francois actually said it or suggested it correctly. You can manually create a link. You can do that inside of the form control. Manually create a link and actually force it based on the ID. You can pick up the ID of the item and send it to the edit form. You could do that. Wouldn't really recommend that, but it is something that is possible to do. And there are some other things as well that can be done. So look at that and see what may be possible. There are some things you may need to use REST for to be able to pull the ID, because at the time of the task being generated, the ID is actually not found because it doesn't exist until that task is saved based on the workflow creating the new item. So there are some things that you might want to look into with that, but that is something that you should be able to dig a little bit more into and actually figure out based on the information that's been provided. So really glad for all the people that were assisting with that. So Christoph, please check that out and let us know. Here's one that I did answer, so I'm going to cheat and go back to the top and pretend that I didn't answer, but we'll see. So Nintex workflows not getting notified to groups or more than one user. So basically what this user was trying to do is, one day, and I looked at this already, they had a send notification email or send email action inside of the workflow. And what they were trying to do was to have it where it was sent to either more than one user, or send to multiple users in a group. And what they noticed is that it worked when an individual was there, but it would start failing when they were using a group or multiple people. So as you can tell, so one of the things here is if it's working for an individual, that means Nintex actually is working or running that workflow correctly. The error message or the error would start actually with what I would actually start doing, looking at the error message on this, is actually looking at the ULS logs, looking at SharePoint to Exchange. And the reason why I say that is something's happening when the group or multiple people are being rendered inside of the workflow engine. The logic to say send to, that's actually now a SharePoint function, because the SharePoint server then communicates with Exchange or whatever your mail server is to then send that email out. So if it's working for an individual, but it's not working for a group or for multiple users, I would check and see why is that information being transformed when that's happening. You check the ULS logs, check the event receiver on the server, and see, and that may be on one of the web front ends that's running the SMTP, to see what's happening and what's causing that to error out in that capacity. So those are things that you can definitely check out, and that may point you in the right direction as far as what's going on and why that may necessarily be failing at that point. All right, so the next one, this is actually a good one as well. I posted this on here also. This user wanted to send document inside of the library to a repository from a list workflow. My response to this was, and this is actually very true, this often happens to people learning about SharePoint and looking at things differently. The context. List and library or document libraries are two different content types inside of SharePoint. And the idea about that is that it is, because it is two different content types, a lot of times the workflow functionality is different. How they interact with the items or the content types are different. So in this case, while no, you can't necessarily take a workflow in a list item and have it move something inside of a library or document library or do some action on that, you could do a couple of different things. You can actually have the list item workflow start a document library workflow. So that's like step one. That's one thing you could do, or option one. You could also have the list push information into um a what did I call that? That was it took me a while to actually remember this one. It's funny. A drop-off library. So instead of just sending it to a regular library, you can actually create, in this one of the content types that is available, a drop-off library in SharePoint. Let me see if I can find that. Leave this page. See, I believe it is an option there. It should be an option 365 as well. I remember it being around here. It may be in a different, it might be part of a different, what do you call that? A different site template as well. And the feature may not be turned on. But essentially, you could create and it will show up here as a drop-off library. And the drop-off library has some other things that are activated. Now I'm curious. I didn't want to go to site contents. I want to go to site settings. And give me 1 second to see. It should be a site collection feature, I believe. And content type syndication hub. So that is so not it. That's funny. Just wanted to see if anybody else was out there with me that was checking on what I was doing. Let's see here. Where is it when I need it? Is it I haven't seen this in a while. I haven't done this in a while, but I do know it exists. In-place records management. Nope, it's not that. I feel like I'm close. All right, let's go back to site settings. Manage site action features. Let's see here. Content organizer. Boom, there we go. Found it. So ideally, I can activate this because it won't hurt anything to do that. All right, took me a minute to remember that. But ideally, you will want the content organizer feature turned on. That will enable a drop-off library, which should show up by default. Let's see if we can go back to our site here. And let's see if we can find it now. Site contents, add an app. Oh, well, I haven't done this in a minute. This has been a while. Let's see here. Where are you? I think I could probably have typed it. I don't see it. It is the drop-off library. Oh, tell me I can't find it. Why can I not find it? Where is it? Now I really want to know where it is. It's one of those things where you start out and you're like, oh man, I'm stuck. All right, I'm gonna ping a friend, Andrew, if you're out there. Help me find this thing really quick. I know I activated that. So let's see here. Like I said, it's been a while. If you don't do this in a while, you actually tend to forget where things are. It's not that you don't know. You do tend to forget. I'm going to go back to site settings and see, what did I do differently? I know I enabled. I thought I enabled that. What? That's probably why I can't. Oh, that's not. I'm actually wrong one. Sorry. Site actions. No, it's actually. Where did it go? Content organizer is active. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted, and it's active. So, oh, there it is. Wow, right in front of my face. Maybe it didn't activate the first time. Okay. Weird. So it probably didn't activate the first time, but there it is. All right, so long to do. I apologize about that, but there it is, the drop-off library. So one of the solutions that you can have is take your list item, so your list workflow, and you can actually push information from the list. So it's creating PDFs based on what the person was saying here. They're creating PDFs, and put them inside of a document library. Instead of just putting it inside of any document library, appreciate it. Thank you. Yes. Instead of so I can actually do this in a couple different ways. I can actually create a document library as well. Let's try to do that. I haven't done that, so this will be a test library. Again, it's been a while since I've done this. And let's see if I can do this way as well. Haven't done this in a while. Library settings. I want to go to advanced settings. I want to go to, where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Send to destination. So that's one. That's not actually what I was looking for though. Man, this is really bad. I'm going to have to figure that out. But the drop-off library is there. So based on the action or the feature being activated, it created the drop-off library. If you define, so what you do here. All right, so let's start like a clean slate. List workflow is creating, actually let's just do this like in a really fast time. We're going to do this Nintex workflow. I'm using Office 365, but very similar, should be able to do the same thing. I'm going to open this up. So the idea is from the list, create a workflow that pushes information into the drop-off library. So I'm going to modify this. I probably should have created a new one. I can't remember what this one had in it. But I'll show you at least what actions are there, and we can kind of walk through some of the configuration. All right, so cool. We want to, I want to copy document. There's a couple things you can do. You can use a send a repository. That actually is one thing you could do. I want, but that's not what I wanted. I want to create an item. Create list item, copy document. I want to copy document. So once the document is there, you can copy it, select the document. You can't, because the document has to be added to the library. So you're probably running a different function to create that from the PDF. But anyway, so you can copy document there, and then you can use the send to repository. So that's the manual if you want to use the workflow way to do it. The other way, which is actually the easier way, I would prefer it, is to have the workflow in the list item, take the PDF, the attachment, and just put it into the drop-off library. Once it hits here, you can actually define the library settings. Ooh, this is bad. This is really bad because I have to set up the rules to do that. Where am I at on that? This goes to show you don't do anything on the fly, right? You have to set up the rules, and the rules are actually found at the site settings level. I remember that part. All right, so we want to go to content organizer, rules, and settings. There we go. All right, bear with me, people. Sorry about that. 1 minute to spare. I could do this. So you set up your rule, test rule. And what this says is you have certain things you can do. So based on the document content type, based on the basic document, you want to send this one. So based on the title, if the title is equal to, say, test document, or it could be finance or whatever, or it could be PDF finance, yeah. Based on that, you want to send it to a particular destination. So you would have the option of choosing what the destination is. So say the drop-off library. Nope, you want to actually send it to a different destination based on your retention schedule, etc. So you can pick your library here. So I can actually do that. And then it will run automatically. You can also have it create tests. You can create folders based on properties, a whole host of things. You can have it run from prioritization, and things like that. You just save this, and then when this runs, it will trigger when anything is added inside of the drop-off library. So really horrible that I just butchered that example, but you get the point, hopefully. So for this one, because you're working with two different content types, I will use the list workflow to trigger either the workflow on the document library, or take the list workflow and then just have it send it to repository. So capture the item as an attachment, send it to the repository, and that's something you can actually look here to say find attachment, I believe is the trigger. So minimum attachment validation. Let's see here, email attachment. Is there a way to show attachments on the form? Add metadata. There's one, there it is right here. So send of attachment of a list to the Nintex workflow via workflow to a library. So this is something that can be done. And there's an answer on here. There was an answer on here. Yep. I thought there was an answer on there. There it is. And it walks through how do you get the list item attachments. It's a pretty interesting way to do it, but it is one of those ways to do it because of how SharePoint handles attachments. So, and this is actually something that will be turned into an asset soon. I know it because I'm going to actually work with Manfred on doing that. But that's my time. I appreciate everyone for participating. Thanks to the people that definitely helped. Thanks, Andrew. Shout out for helping me. He actually shot over a couple of emails to help me kind of get through the content organizer dilemma that I was in. But I appreciate everyone for being here, for showing up. Again, Exchange is ready. It is up. It is going out. If you have any assets, if you create anything, if you know JavaScript, CSS, if you know JSON, jQuery, if you know how to manipulate things like that, definitely you register. I'll get the email and we'll walk through getting you set up so you can create your own asset. We'll probably walk through a test asset, make sure you have everything in place. But get involved, get engaged, find something that's out there inside of the Exchange and use it, leverage it. We'll have information blasting out tomorrow from corporate, talking about what the Exchange is, some more information as well. But I wanted to give you a sneak peek because it was one of the projects that I worked on specifically, and it's a hangout, and why not give you some really juicy content. But definitely excited about it. Tell your friends, tell everyone you know. If you're Nintex partners, get in contact with us, contact the partner team as well, so that you can get registered, find out how do you get solutions in there. We're working on different ways for our partners to package different solutions, both paid and for free. So if you have trial information, things like that, getting those into the hands of our users. We want people to be able to find stuff fast, to be able to use them and leverage them, and we want to see things. Don't forget to rate assets as well. Like them, rate them, and share them. That's a part of the process. It's a very key thing because it's built by the community for the community. So with your help, we'll make this the best thing ever, and we'll find out. You know, I want to see if we can get to 1,000 assets. So I'm being very very optimistic about that goal. But let's hit that number. Let's see what all can we create, so that people literally they get Nintex, they go to the Exchange, they find 2 or 3 different assets, they put them together, they do a little bit of configuration, and then they're off to the races, and then they're populating, they're creating more assets, and it's just this never-ending cycle. So really excited about that. Glad that you all are on board. Thank you for watching and participating. Thank you to everyone that helped. If you're seeing this after the live hour, thank you for taking time out of your day to actually watch this. If you have any questions about Exchange, email me or post it on the community. Ask the question. You'll see ask questions on the left side of learn more and using Exchange. Ask your question there. We have people that are engaged and ready to respond. And also for people that are interested in participating in Exchange, let me know as well, and we'll get you signed up and get you registered. So until next time, I'll see you later, and hopefully we'll have more news coming soon about Exchange, about Nintex, and some new stuff that's happening. Oh, I can't forget, Nintex 2016 is on its way. We've been running through some internal beta. Excited about that. That's some stuff that's looking really awesome. So keep on the lookout for that. Some news about that's coming soon. We got some blogs and things coming from our TEs as well, tech evangelists here at Nintex. So be on the lookout for that. Nintex 2016 is coming. Got some new features, got some new things that are really great to use. So be on the lookout for that as well. But until next time, thanks for tuning into the Nintex Hangout. Tweet us, blog about us, and let us know if you have any questions or anything. And we're excited to have you as a part of the Nintex community. Have a good day.